Desert Island Discs Horror Edition. Yes, all horror films in this one. All horror films. So let's delve in. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another episode of Desert Island Discs, or Desert Island Movies as I've sort of renamed it now. And yes, we're doing all horror because this bottom shelf here is what I'm on, and it's horror all the way through. It's just a shelf of horror films. Now it'll be an interesting one because, well, I do say that horror's not my favourite of genres. A lot of horror films don't work for me. But it's surprising that I've got quite a few horror films in the collection, really. And, yeah, so you know how this plays out. I'm going to go through the shelf, going to have a look at everything on it. Then I'm going to whittle it down to that one film above all the others on that shelf that I would take with me if I had to make that choice. I could only pick one movie. What movie would I pick? Now, I can't pick a box set of stuff. That's my rules. I have to pick the one movie from the box set. I know it's easy to take it as a pack and say, well, I'll take that pack with me. But it's about taking just the one movie. So I'd have to take one movie with me. And what movie would I choose? While I'm doing it, why don't you join in? You can tell me what movie you would choose. And also see if you can guess my choice of film before we get to the end. And drop it down in the comments. While you're there, why not hit the subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up and all that malarkey that comes with it. Saying that, if you wanted to, you could give the video a thumbs down. It really doesn't matter which way it goes. But anyway, so we're going to begin here with this shelf. So let's delve in. So it's a shelf and there's stuff on top as well. So there's a fair amount of stuff to get through. So I'm going to pull this lot out here. Okay, so we have this stuff here. Look, going to do this lot first. Let's take a look at what we've got. Okay, so first off, we have... And I still got stickers on it. Damn it. I picked this one up in CEX. Oh, and that sticker does come off. I'm going to see if the other sticker comes off before I show you what the film is. I know, that's bad. I haven't, it won't come off. Damn these goddamn CEX stickers from back in the day when... Oh, I peeled that off, but there's a big bit. Anyway, that movie is Sleepaway Camp 3. This is the third one, isn't it? Yes, Teenage Wasteland. I do have Sleepaway Camp 2 as well. I don't think I have the first one, though. This one here actually comes with a reversible sleeve. So, yeah, Sleepaway Camp from 88 Films. There's slasher, like 80s slashers, you know what I mean. And, yeah, anyway, there's that. And then we have a film which technically isn't a horror film, but it's in that section because it's sort of, I suppose it steps into that sort of genre. And it is Hugh Jackman and Kate Beckinsale in Van Helsing. I tried watching this a couple of years ago again, and the effects were dreadful. They really are. You know, it ain't aged great at all. And obviously it's directed by old Stephen Sommers, who done the Mummy films. Hugh Jackman was good in it. Kate Beckinsale looked great in it. She really does. And, yeah, there we go. Next up, we have a movie called, starring Melissa George, called The Triangle. Got a lovely lenticular on it, as you can see. Look. I don't know. I can't even remember it. It's been so long since I visited it, that film. Next one is actually a really good film. A really good film. And it's Train to Busan. Yeah. Get on Board to Stay Alive. Korean film. And best zombie movie I've ever seen in forever. Well, I couldn't just say best zombie movie I've ever seen. I'm reading the thing there. This is a great film. It really is a truly good film. Yeah, I do have the prequel. I think it's a prequel that came. It's in the special editions up the top. It wasn't that good. I'm going to hold this one for later. There's a reason. Oh, look, I'm knocking the camera. And then we have the film Rubber. This is a weird one. A killer tyre. People sitting around watching it kill and like they're watching a film being made. There's sort of weird stuff in it. It's an odd film. The best killer tyre movie you'll ever see. Yeah, it probably is the best killer tyre movie I'll ever see. And then we have The Thing. Wow, look at this. Look at this. Still sealed. Still sealed. Brand new pickup back in the day. How much could I get that for now? And it's still sealed. Wow. I've watched it since, obviously. This is the Thing remake, or the prequel set inside the Norwegian camp. And although it stars old What's-Her-Face, who I think is quite good. I forget her name now. Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I quite like her. I think the film missed a trick in that it didn't set it just filmed with Norwegians and have it filmed in Norwegian with subtitles and this sort of thing. Obviously, they went from being practical effects, which they wanted to do practical effects, then they switched to CGI. I don't know why they've done that. Stick with the practical. Practical always looks good. It does. Practical effects, always great. It's kind of lost art now, isn't it, with CG? But yeah, it's essentially the same film as The Thing. You can't really do much more than what The Thing gave you. Even as a prequel set in another base before, it's going to be exactly the same goddamn story. But yeah, I don't mind it. It is okay. It is okay. Oh my god. Oh my god. I didn't know I had this film. I picked it up for £1 or £2 in CEX, and it has let me in. But this was gifted to me by Lee Hills, a steelbook version of it. I believe, yeah. And I watched it and it was a thoroughly good film. And wow, I picked it up cheap and I didn't even know that I had it. Even when it was gifted to me, it didn't make me ring a bell saying, I've got this film. No, I've got that. I've never watched it. It's still sealed. Mental. That's a really good film. Talking of good films, Strippers vs. Werewolves. Why the hell do I have this in the collection? I don't know. Who stars in it? I don't know, but it stars Lucy Pinder. Do you remember Lucy Pinder from the days of Nuts and Zoo magazine? She was in that quite a bit. Robert England is in this one as well. Boy, do I have some crap. Saying that, Robert England, from one Robert England movie to another. Robert England and Gemma Jameson. Remember Gemma Jameson? Former porn star. Zombie Strippers. Wow, we're going back to the early days of Blu-ray here with these ones, when I got these. Mental. Anyway, let's move. Let's just see what I'm doing. I don't know. I'm trying to sort some stuff out here. And then we have a movie which I have on Steelbook as well, and it's called Nurse 3D, starring Paz de la Huerta. I remember her. She was in Boardwalk Empire for a bit. She's a nurse and she kills people or something. Nurse 3D. I think I've actually got a couple of versions of this film. I won't be surprised if it pops up again. We shall see. I wonder how much that trades in for. It's either one of those out of print ones that's a bit, or it's worth nothing at all. Anyway, then we have James Corden. James Corden and Matthew Horn in Lesbian Vampire Killers, with a lovely slip. Do you remember when James Corden was actually likeable? Yeah, he's not anymore, is he? But this wasn't bad. This is the two guys from the TV series that they've done, which I never watched. Look at that. Look at that cover. Fantastic. And here we have John Carpenter, Double Bill. And I think I've got one of these films individually as well down here. We'll come across it. And it is John Carpenter's Vampires and Ghosts of Mars. Now, James Woods is fantastic in this film. He really is. I like John Carpenter's Vampires. I think it's wholly underrated as a John Carpenter film. Ghosts of Mars was actually was actually made from a script that was written for a third Escape From movie. But after the failure of Escape From LA, it got changed into Ghosts of Mars. And Jason Statham's in it. with hair. Yeah. There we go. But saying about vampires, this is the one I held back because I knew that was coming up. And it is the sequel, Vampires Los Muertos. John Carpenter presents. And it stars John Bon Jovi. Yeah. I bought that because I liked the first... And I don't remember it. I know it's a straight video film. I don't remember it that well. But I bought it because it had come out. I really like vampires itself. So I thought I would pick that one up as well. So moving on, what do we have here? We have the Chernobyl Diaries, and I can't really say nothing about it because I haven't watched it. I believe it to be a found footage film, but never got around to trying to watch it. And this is the original, completely uncut version of I Spit on Your Grave, but it is a bootleg. It is a bootleg that was gifted to me to watch after I'd watched the remake ones, and I quite enjoyed the first and third one of those. I wouldn't ever watch the first one again, but when it came to the third one, it would make me watch the first one again, because the first and third, I thought the third one was really good in that it became very more psychological and the impact that it had on the girl and this sort of stuff afterwards. I've not seen the sequel to this one that was done a few years back, I believe, as I recall. I wouldn't buy this as an original film. And then we have Gorefest, Gore Porn, a box set of Hostel parts 1, 2 and 3. Now remember, as a choice, I wouldn't be able to choose this box set. I'd have to choose one film within. That's the way my rules work. So, yeah. Obviously, these are made by Eli Roth. Eli Roth done the... he recently done Thanksgiving, which didn't work for me. I didn't like it. But the Hostels, Gore Porn, it's okay. I don't mind that stuff. Next up we have, and this here I could get rid of as well actually, Event Horizon, because I have a special edition version up there. I'd really love to see the unedited version of the film, but I believe that that footage got lost and destroyed in maybe a flood or something silly like that. Can't remember the complete ins and outs, but even if they if they edited those bits in an animated fashion, I'd still sit down and watch it to see what the original concept story would have actually been like. It's a good film. Obviously it's a Paul W.S. Anderson movie. Paul W., from the Resident Evil and Alien vs Predator fame. That fella, Mr. Jovovich. Next up, we have here... I got these in a box set, and I think I picked this up just because it was a lenticular. It's Saw 3D, but I think that these films were round in the S's when I done that, and not in the horror section. Can't really get a feel for that lenticular too much there, but yeah, And then we have here, lovely box set for Blu-ray for Nightmare on Elm Street 7-film collection. Freddy Krueger. 1, 2, Freddy is coming for you. 3, 4, you better lock that door. If you hear noise, it's the tortoise up there banging about. I'm going to get him down in a minute because he's annoying me. So yeah, Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street 7-film collection. Hold on one sec. Okay, so the Elm Street films. I grew up on these. They were great films. They were. I mean, I loved them as a friend. Well, I mean, they're not great films. Some are poor. I know that. But, yeah, I like the Elm Street films. And this is 7 films. Elm Street 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And Freddy's, The New Nightmare. I like Freddy Krueger. I think they're cool. Like I said, I grew up on them. They're good, decent films. And then we have here Never Sleep Again 2. I do have Never Sleep Again 1 as well somewhere, but I'm not sure that it's down here. It might be somewhere else. It needs to be put into this section. I Am Nancy. This is documentary based upon that. And then we have a bootleg here. And I sourced this simply because this was meant to get a release in Germany. It had been... images were up for it, and then it was pulled, and it hasn't. And it is all 44 episodes of Freddy's Nightmares, the Nightmare on Elm Street TV series, Freddy's Nightmares. Yeah, fantastic. If it did get a proper release, I would upgrade that one. I would. And then we got 2 Arrow films coming our way. And I think I've recently got this on 4K. I did a special edition version, quite cheap. American Werewolf in London. Solid film. Great film. I think as I filmed this, we've recently had the release of American Werewolf in Paris on Blu-ray. I didn't get it. Yeah, I didn't get it. Well, not many good, is it? I mean, I remember it. I don't remember it. I remember it coming out back in the day. I remember seeing it. I think it was under the Entertainment in Video VHS line at the time when that would have come out. But certainly not one that I really fancy a revisit of. And then we have a film that... Oh, this film used to freak me out as a kid. It really did. And I was so glad when it got a release under Arrow. The Car. The Car. Sort of much like Christine sort of a thing. Killer Car. This version comes with a reversible sleeve, a booklet and all that sort of thing. And I grew up on this sort of film. You know, and they used to scare the crap out of me for some reason. They really did. You know. You had Christine, you had The Car, you had Duel from Steven Spielberg. Yeah, wow. Next up, a franchise that a couple of franchises coming into now, and I really love this franchise. Again, a franchise I grew up on, much like Nightmare on Elm Street, and it is Chucky, the Child's Play franchise, and this is the 7 movie box set. So again, remember, I could only take one film with me. Same with Elm Street, I could only take one film, but I grew up on these, and I really like the franchise. What can I say? I'm a sucker for Chucky. And then we have the documentary Living with Chucky, which came out recently. That'd look great in a yellow box, wouldn't it? I think I might have a yellow box, thin box that could fit in, funnily enough. Anyway, enough of that. But anyway, Living with Chucky documentary. Then we have season 1 of the TV series Chucky, and season 2. I sort of combined the steelbooks with the releases of these ones. The lenticular on that one isn't as good as the first one, but you know, these are nice releases. They are. And obviously Chucky season 3, first half was on that part of last year. The second half is this year. I don't know whether it would have been screened. Probably been screened by the time this airs. It would have been finished probably. And then we have here the remake. The unneeded remake. I watched all of these films in quick succession. All the Child's Play films, including the remake. I reviewed them all. And it was as the TV series was about to begin. So I could go into the TV series and review that as well. And I'd never watched all the Chucky films in quick succession. And even the bad ones. There's so much DNA linking these films together that as a whole, they really work. They do. They really work, because Don Mancini, the architect, the creator of Child's Play, he's been behind it every step of the way, and he's overseen it, and it shows, you know, it shows. Even in their worst moments, you know, like Seed of Chucky, there's still elements to it that feed back into other films, and elements in it that feed into future films, and it's the DNA is great to see. But yeah, that was completely unneeded. Why is there a loose disc in there? What is inside, I wonder? It's a couple of old DVDs of mine floating around of some of the Chucky films from the DVD days, because that's what I've done. I just sort of stuck them into boxes. But yeah, so this one, it didn't really work for me, and on the rewatch of all of them, it really highlighted how poor a film that one actually is. So moving on to another franchise, a franchise that I quite enjoy. Yeah, and that is The Conjuring. James Wan, The Conjuring. This film was different. It took horror back to an era where you didn't have the technology, you didn't have mobile phones, all this sort of thing, and it's quite nice, and it's got a great cast to it as well. So you have The Conjuring, then you have The Conjuring 2, which to be fair, is it's okay. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Then we have The Conjuring 3. I picked up for £6. I've never paid full money for these, don't think. Anyway, yeah, Conjuring 3, not as good. Then we moved into the Annabelle films. Annabelle Creation, Annabelle Comes Home, which is still sealed as well, look. I've seen it, I've seen all these. Annabelle Comes Home, The Nun, first Nun film there. The Nun Part 2, I picked up cheap. Blu-ray, I didn't need it on 4K, didn't feel that I needed it. And then we have The Curse of La Llorona. I heard someone say that this film isn't... I don't know if it's true or not. Is this film now not canon to the others? I don't see how it really matters whether it is or not, but... yeah, I don't know anyway. But you know, the Conjuring franchise, I have fun with that universe of films, and I like it when a new one comes along, and I sort of support and watch them. It's pretty good. Now we go to a film which is Sam Raimi's involved in this. From Sam Raimi, director of Spider-Man. Yeah, scariest movie of the decade, Drag Me to Hell. I've not watched it in a long time. I remember it being quite good. It wasn't bad, it was silly, it had fun moments and that sort of thing. And then we have the Dyatlov Pass incident, based upon true story, in what happened at Dyatlov Pass and the questions raised and what did actually happen to these people. I think they did figure it out in the end, but this is a film sort of based around that concept, and yeah, does its own thing, its own spin on it. And then we have Dracula Untold with Luke Evans. I think that's his name, isn't it? Yeah. The Legend is Born. And I quite enjoyed it, actually. I quite enjoyed it. Not great, but, you know, I enjoyed it. And then we have Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, Steelbook Arrow release. Fantastic. Elvira? Yeah, you know, what can I say? Then we have Elvira's Haunted House Collector's Edition with a solid slip as well. Yeah, these are fun, rubbish, throwaway, nonsensical fun, aren't they? But anyway, moving on. We have here Friday the 13th 8-movie collection. Now I do have another version of it. We have Friday 13 films up there in a massive big box set, and I still have this. Yeah, 8-movie collection, Friday 13th movies. But not only that, we have Friday the 13th, Jason Goes to Hell, because this is not part of that box set, and nor is part 10, Jason X. And I really like this film. This is probably my most watched Jason movie. But like Child's Play, like Elm Street, they're films of my youth. You know, that I grew up on those characters, and I love a lot of love for them. And this film, as stupid as it is, as cheap as it is, I really like it. I really like its space setting. I like the sort of Uber Jason, the design of the Uber Jason. Just looks fantastic. I remember I used to have a Movie Maniacs figure of this Jason, but I sold it at one point. I kind of regret that now, but there we go. Then we have the remake of Friday the 13th, which was okay. I think it's better than the Elm Street remake, and but what I didn't like is they kind of humanised Jason more, in that he had dwellings. There was somewhere where he was actually living. I think it was in his tunnels underground or something silly, and it kind of takes away the sort of that sort of questions of, you know, what is he? Where's he from? Is he supernatural? All this sort of a thing, because he has a home, and that's as I remember. And obviously it stars, is it Jared Padalecki or whatever his name is from Supernatural fame, Sam Winchester, and then we have here Freddy vs Jason. I have a lot of fun with this film. It's not great. It's not great, you know, but finally seeing Freddy and Jason go at it, it is, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. And then we have here, I don't know why this is thrown up here. Should be with the Elm Streets really, but it's the Nightmare on Elm Street remake film. Look at that. That's a nice lenticular, quite effective with that slash mark that works its way up it. That's not or down it, whatever way you want to look at it. But that's quite cool actually. I like that. I didn't remember this. I mean, I don't remember this lenticular. Looking at it, it was like I know I had a lenticular on it, but I didn't remember it done that. That was quite impressive. Shame about the film. Shame about the film. Anyway, moving on still. More of a comedic horror visit. And the first one of these was quite fun. It was Happy Death Day. You know, sort of Groundhog Day horror film. It was fun. It was fun. And then you had the sequel, Happy Death Day to You. Shame we didn't get a third one, but the second one wasn't as good as the first. And then we have a film that I think is very overrated, that people love, and I'll be honest, it's just a game of peekaboo. Oh, peekaboo from behind the bush. Peekaboo, peekaboo, Halloween. John Carpenter. Okay, it's the granddaddy of slashers. It kind of set the tone. It opened the door for this sort of a film. It's got a good soundtrack by John Carpenter, but it's not. I don't think it's a very good film, and I get flack for that. I do, but it's all subjective, isn't it? At the end of the day, I'm not gonna, tell you that I think this film is fantastic because everyone else out there thinks it's fantastic. I'll tell you what I think of it, and I don't think it's that great a film. So much so, I don't really have any of the other. I have Halloween 3 somewhere. I have that in the collection somewhere. And then we have Halloween, the sort of remake one from, I think it was 2018, something like that. It's still sealed, look. But obviously I have seen it. That was pretty good. I enjoyed that. I thought that was a nice sort of return to form. I don't have none of the other Halloween films between... I have Halloween, I have original, I have Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, which was a recent watch last year, and then I go into these. I don't have nothing in between in the sense Halloween. That's how much I love the franchise. So we've got that, and then we have, well, funnily enough, we sort of jumped to Halloween Ends. I don't know why I bought this. I just felt I needed to complete the trilogy. I do have Halloween Kills somewhere, but it's not here, so I don't know where that one is. It's about somewhere. I'll find it in time. Anyway, the film I spoke about a little while ago, and the other ones aren't here, but the first, I Spit on Your Grave. Yeah, okay, I Spit on Your Grave. I didn't mind it. I thought it was alright. That's the remake one. Okay, I thought it was pretty good. Second one, much the same. The third one really did do it for me. I thought, wow, I like where you've gone with this film. And then we have a box set of the Lost Boys trilogy. Lost Boys 1, 2 and 3. Now remember, I can only take one with me. Lost Boys 2 is The Tribe. Lost Boys 3 is The First. They were straight to video movies. But the first Lost Boys, great film. And speaking of great films, and I recently got a 4K release of this. Again, thanks to Lee Eels for getting it into the country for me. Frank Darabont's The Mist with Punisher. Tom Jane. What an ending. What an ending this film has. Seriously, it's a solid movie. I have Nicolas Cage in Mum and Dad with Selma Blair. This kind of freaked my kids out. They were young when I watched it with them. And then I sort of started to pretend that I was going that way with them. It's all about torture. Yeah, but yeah, I didn't mind it. And that's still sealed as well. I bought it. I probably bought it brand new. Mental. Then a CEX pickup, £6, classic film, Misery, James Caan, obviously, James Caan, yeah. And Kathy Bates. What a solid film that was back in the day. Wow. Good. Anyway, moving on to another franchise of movies here. A couple of franchises coming up. We have The Purge. First one. I'll be honest, I've never seen the ending. I fell asleep during it. I thought it was quite boring. I thought it was a great concept for a film. A really good concept that didn't do it justice. And I fell asleep before the ending occurred. Then came The Purge Anarchy. Yes, I know case is upside down because it's dirty on the other side. I need you to sort the case out. I enjoyed this. Probably the strongest of the Purge films. Purge Anarchy. Then we have Election Year, which was okay. Then we have the first Purge, which was like, you know, the sort of the very first time it happened. Witnessed the birth of an American tradition. And then we have the Forever Purge. That's still sealed as well. These films, you see what I mean? I've done videos on day one buy-in, all this sort of a thing. Oh, that's a 4K version. Day one buy-in and this sort of stuff. And case in point, things like this, when I say, oh, it's still sealed and it's a day one purchase, and you still haven't watched it. Why do I buy on day one? Anyway, moving on. Moving on to another small franchise. Steelbook for the Toxic Avenger, still sealed. It's got some nice embossing on that actually, on the title and on his mop. Toxic Avenger, Toxie. There's a remake of it coming, isn't there? From 88 Films, it's Steelbook. Fantastic. I have seen the films back in the day. And then we have Toxic Avenger Part 2 with a slip. HMV, nice green case there, look. Then we have Toxic Avenger 3. There we go. Third one. The Last Temptation of Toxie. And I knew I had a spare green case. I've got a spare green case over there for Out of Time. And I knew I had it for a reason. And it spoke to me now. Citizen Toxie. The Toxic Avenger 4. I need to put that in a green case. I'll do that in a minute. I'll leave that one to one side. And the last film here. And that is the only film that I actually have in this franchise, believe it or not. And it's the only film I haven't seen in this franchise. Scream 4. I mean, when I say I don't have the films in the franchise, I have Scream 1, 2 and 3 on DVD in there, in that box. I don't have them on Blu-ray or 4K. The Scream franchise, it was relevant when it first started. It was interesting. It soon went downhill. I don't like the recent Scream films. I think they're not very good for reasons that I have delved into previously. They're bad taste movies, to be honest, I think. But anyway, so they're all the films. That's the horrors done. Obviously, there's other horror films kicking around the place. But so let me know your thoughts. Let me know. I'm going to step away for a minute and I'll come back. And let me know what you would, what film you would take from this lot, or any runners up you might have as well, or you're undecided. Let me know. Give me a minute. I'll be back. Okay. So first of all, what I've just done is where I have Toxic Avenger in green cases, I have put the fourth one in a green case as well. I've got to clean that up though. That was In Time, you know, the film with Amanda Seyfried and I think it's Justin Timberlake who was in that. But Toxic Avenger in 3 green cases. How silly are we? But anyway, to do that. And there's a steelbook for the first one. So, yeah. I knew I had that green case for something and it's finally come to me. So, there we go. Now, the Toxic Avenger, I will say, is a film that, well, I mean, I remember the cartoon series of it. I remember Marvel Comics doing a Marvel comic of it. You know, this sort of crazy stuff. Yeah, it was quite a sort of franchise back in the day. Obviously, they're from Troma, this sort of cheap company. But I what can I say? I quite enjoyed them. There we go. So I've got to pick a film now. So what film have you picked? Okay, so I've sort of delved into it about what I would choose. It's quite a difficult one actually, because I'm not overly enamoured by the horror franchise. I think it quite kind of sets a lot of them on the same sort of level for me in that sense. But there's some great films in there. The first Elm Street film, Jason X is one. Seriously, you know, maybe one of the Friday the 13th. But I have picked up a few here that runners up. Let's do some runners up first of all. Okay, so runners up for me. Let Me In. I thought it was a superb character-driven movie. And I do have the original version, yet to watch it. Although, as this airs, I may well have watched it. But yeah, let me in. I thought that was a solid film. Although I saw the ending coming. You know, it was kind of there. It was apparent what was going to happen, how it was going to end. So next up as a runner-up, Train to Busan. Again, this is a phenomenal movie. If you haven't seen it, why not? It is a solid film. I believe there's an American remake on the way. Not that that really interests me too much. Then we have John Carpenter's Vampires. Like I said, an underrated John Carpenter movie. I adore it. I think James Woods' performance in it is fantastic. I rate this film. Not the best Carpenter film. I would take it over Halloween. Okay, seriously, I'm not a fan of Halloween. But that one film out of this that I would take, and it kind of it's horror, but it steps out of horror as well. And it is, I don't know why I've got these DVDs in there, it's just bulging the box out. And it's only the one film, so there's 3 films here, but it's the one film that I would take with me out of all this lot, and it is The Lost Boys. Yeah, The Lost Boys. You know, 1987, Joel Schumacher, classic movie, Kiefer Sutherland. You know, what can I say about the film? I was introduced to the film by my brother. He bought me it for as a gift, VHS, and I weren't overly interested, and was like, oh, not really interested. Vampires, not really my sort of thing. You know what I mean? But when I sat down and watched it, I was blown away. I was blown away by it. I thought it was a fantastic film, and to this day, that film has lived with me and stood up to the test of time. It's a superb movie. There's nothing more I can say about that. It's great. It's a great film. So there you go. That was my pick. So let me know in the comments what film you would pick, especially if you're a horror buff. You know, what would you pick? I am interested, seriously. And I'll be back in 2 weeks with another episode of Desert Island Movies. So I shall see you then. And thank you for watching. See you later.